what's going on? Welcome to Strange Talk with Doc. I hope everything is good with you today, people. Everything's pretty good with me. I ain't got no complaints, and if I did, I ain't gonna share them right now on the air. I want to talk about something, before we go into the regular show, but it is going to be a part of what's going on in the regular show. We got to learn to let go of the myth that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes things in life happen for absolutely positively no good reason, unless you're one of those people who believe that uh, everything should be made into a movie, a self-help group where you're sitting in some fucking church basement, uh, giving your life horror stories to help other people who are going through the same thing that you're going through. Unless you think that everything should be made into a book, and that one day will touch other people and lift them up. But everything is not a movie. Everything is not a book. There are some things in life that there are no reasons for. We are all going through something. Every single human being on this planet is going through something. Some people are dealing with financial issues. Some people are dealing with life and death issues. Some people are dealing with abuse issues, homelessness issues. You get the picture. We don't always get to see people's scars, and we don't always get to see people's wounds. That's why you have to be careful of the rumors, gossip, and innuendo talk. Some things in this life cannot be fixed. They have to be carried. They become your badge of honor. And that's why I say this is bullshit. You know what? Somebody going through sexual assault, a father coming in a little girl's room. There is no reason for that. We need to take this pacifier out of people's mouths that everything happens for a reason. There is no good reason for a person to be driving drunk. There is no good reason for abuse, any form of abuse, drugs, abuse of power, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. There's really no good reason for being judgmental towards other people. There's no good reason to be self-indulgent. See, that's going to lead you to overindulging in things, feeling you're entitled to things that you're not entitled to. So we need to at least think about this. I know from a spiritual standpoint, a lot of people want to believe that everything happens for a reason. Show me the passage in the Bible where everything happens for a reason. And I will read it, I will study it, I will meditate on it and see how that fits with my life. But there are a lot of bad things that happen to good people, and they happen for zero reason. There's no reason behind it. It's just life. But to say that the myth is like I said, it is a pacifier, and you're going out of your way to make a horrible situation fit a narrative that it shouldn't fit. It's all right as a human being to say, not why me or woe is me, but to say, what the hell is going on? See, you're not even given the opportunity to say what the hell is going on because you're accepting that this bad circumstance or this set of tr- turmoil and tribulations that you're going to, you some way, shape, or form deserve it. No, you don't. That person that you see is suffering, they might not deserve it. So, what is the reason for it? It doesn't stop it from happening, it just states that there's no reasons. And as I go on to the very next portion of the show, which will start like instantaneously, I'm going to tell you about some situations that did not have to happen. There was no rhyme and there was no reason. So if you stick with me, you get to understand a little bit why I named this show what it is. We had a 7-year-old child accidentally shoot and kill a 5-year-old in Kentucky. We had a 2-year-old boy shoot and kill his pregnant mother in Ohio. Now, there is no rhyme, there is no reason, there is nobody under the sun who can explain to me why this is a reason, why this should happen, and what the reason for this is. First of all, these parents, these aunts, uncles, whoever allowed these children access to weapons, is so simple to buy a gun safe. It is so simple to unload a weapon, put it on safety. If you have a lock, use the lock. If you don't have a box, if you have little children in the home, they need to know that this is not a toy. It's none of their business, a 7-year old or 2-year old, that you even have a gun. That 2-year old, that 7-year old, it might be a toy to them. They're not even thinking. They see it on TV, they see it in movies, they see it in cartoons. So they point and they click. But this thing was off safety, or you had a weapon that does not have a safety, and you are negligent. No rhyme and reason. The missing submarine that went down to check out the Titanic that wound up costing 5 people their lives. You can't tell me there was a reason for that. There is absolutely no reason that this billionaire put himself in harm's way, his 19-year-old son in harm's way, to see the Titanic, which has been sitting on the bottom of the ocean for 100 years, when you could have put in a you could have watched Discovery Channel, the History Channel, and seen everything that you needed to see about it. You could have read every book that you needed to read about it. Sometimes, like I said, there are no rhymes and reasons for things that are happening. Now, usually it goes to bad luck, but it also affects good luck. You don't necessarily deserve things to go in your way. So there is no reason for that either, because you're not so special that the world should bow down to you. The world is not here to bow down to you. And the quicker that we learn that we are almost nothing in the grand scheme of life, the quicker that we get to accept that life is what it is. But to bow down to that this is happening to me, and this is happening to me for a reason. Now, there are effect and a cause and effects. Granted, cause and effects. You shoot heroin, you can OD. You drive drunk, you can crash the car. You leave the gas on in the home, you can blow the place up or cause a fire. We understand this cause and effect. You drink every day, all day, you can become an alcoholic. No need for me to name the 9 million causes and effects. But I'm talking about the things that don't seem to have any cause and effects, and you accepting that this is all right. So we had Trump plead. Actually, let's say this: please, Congress, please get these prosecutors off my ass. Please, I need your help. Trump needs to be sat down and told that he's no longer the president of the United States. And I'm glad that this John Wick told this dude that he's going to be using his interviews against him that he conducted with non-government entities. And they also plan to use all his public statements as evidence against him. This is a man who seems to like to run off the mouth when he should be quiet. He should sometimes sit back and take advice of counsel. Take advice of, he says he has friends. He says he has loved ones. He has family. He needs to be able to listen to them. And maybe we don't always know best. Sometimes somebody on the outside looking in can give us some great advice. So he really needs to look at that. This week I started watching a comedy. I guess it's been on the air for 2 years, so I'm late to the party. Yeah, I'm late to the party. But Ghost, if you have never seen Ghost, not the British version, but the American version, I believe that's on CBS, is a very good little show. I enjoy it. I like the ghosts. I like the couple who have the house that the ghosts reside in. It's a fun show. Eric Andre, they drop 2 episodes a week. The last 2 episodes they dropped was as lunacy as any Eric Andre that you'll ever see. He's out of control, but he does use some of his time to seem to attack people he does not personally like. He attacked Tom Hanks's son Chad on his Wiganism, and I thought that was pretty damn cool. He also, when John Hamm came in, he attacked John Hamm for being friends with Kevin Spacey and the fact that Kevin Spacey has all these allegations of male abuse. So that was all right. I watched a documentary called The Stroll. Stroll. The stroll, for those of you who do not know, is where prostitutes, hookers, streetwalkers ply their trade. It would be a block in a major city or a small city, which would be known as the red light district. It's never legal, but this is where the ladies are. This happens to be not about the ladies, but transgender ladies who were rolling on 14th Street in the meatpacking district back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s before the Bloomberg administration. I thought that was an interesting view. I don't know your views on transgender people, but I don't think that comes into play here. I think it's just a good documentary about some human beings who were going through some things at a particular point in their life, and this is how they were surviving. I found it to be a very interesting watch. I am loving this show called The Bear. The Bear, if you never see any episode of The Bear, I ask you to do yourself a favor and watch the episode called Fishes. When you watch the episode called Fishes, you should then thank your higher power, whoever you call God, that this family does not resemble your family in any way, shape, or form. This was lunacy. This show was so chaotic, it almost gave me a headache. It was to the point where me and my wife was sitting there going, this show literally hurts. And then they hit a point that we didn't even see coming, which made things even worse than they were. It was out of control. I highly recommend The Bear to begin with. It's dry black humor, but this episode was off the chart. Uh, it had a lot of guest stars. Bob Opendick from Better Call Saul was in it. Damn, I can't believe this lady's escaping me, but she was masterful playing the Bear's mother. It was great. I finished off Dead Mirror. Demon 79 was insane. Maisie Day was all right. Beyond the Sea was the worst of the 5 episodes that dropped. Maisie Day dealt with paparazzi who don't give a rat's ass, who would do anything to get that picture. Demon 79 dealt with a demon who came to Earth and needed this woman to kill 3 people to stop Armageddon. Beyond the Sea was a story of 2 astronauts who were in space but could transport to their replica bodies on Earth and the things that went on with that. I'm also into The Walking Dead, Dead City. Dead City is all right. Maggie and Negan are all right. It's a short term series, a short 6 episode series. I don't know if this is going to be renewed for a longer period of time. Uh, why nobody seems to really have a lot of guns in New York City, a city that is full of weaponry. It seems like nobody could find the thugs, the precincts, the armories, weapons. I mean, these guys are walking around with drills that they're using as opposed to 380s and 9 millimeters. But so far, The Walking Dead City has been good. I'll get into episode 3 later this week. So LSU had to vacate all their wins from 2012 to 2015. Les Miles was the head coach at the time. And when he lost these 37 wins plus the 2 bowl game wins, it made him ineligible for the Hall of Fame because you have to have a 60% win percentage to be in the Hall of Fame. And I think this dropped him down into like the 58s or 59s. So Les Miles is no longer eligible. And he had a player on the team who was ineligible for his entire college career. This is not today's college where you have NILs. This was a time where you was not supposed to be receiving funds, extra stuff from the sponsors and such. So you know what? Thank God LSU didn't have to vacate a national title. But these kids now, I don't even know how they work it. Do they ask back for the bowl rings or the bowl trophies? I think sometimes they go that far. They rip down banners, everything. So this is a real blight on Les Miles' reputation. Is tarnished now to lose all those wins. We had the NBA draft this week. And my San Antonio Spurs did the right thing. They selected Victor Wembanyama with the number one overall pick in the draft. I am so happy for my Spurs nation. Go Spurs, go. We can bounce back. It's been a long 4 years since Kawhi Leonard left. I mean, a real long 4 years, not making the playoffs, being at the bottom of the NBA. Now we can start bouncing back and rebuilding. And maybe some people might want to come and play with Victor and help him out, help build up the Spurs team to back to the glory that they deserve to be at. I like to say congratulations to the Thompson twins, Amen and Ishar, who went fourth and fifth in the NBA draft. These are twins who were drafted fourth and fifth. I mean, this is spectacular for a family. A family hit the lottery not one time, but a family hit the lottery 2 times on the same day within 10 minutes. That is amazing. God has truly blessed the Thompson family. I mean, their mother must be beaming with pride. Uh, the whole family has to be proud of them. I mean, I wish them much success going on in the NBA. So we had a lot of talk this week about Damian Lillard, and Damian Lillard wanted to move from Portland. But as far as I'm concerned, until Damian Lillard himself says he wants to leave Portland, this is sports reporters being his mouthpiece. They don't have the right to do so. I remember the good old days where sports reporters wrote on the story. They didn't become the story themselves. And you know what, Damian Lillard, if you want to leave Portland after taking all their money, then you might have to be the bad guy. You might have to be the grown-ass man. If you call yourself Dollar Dame and you're a hardcore rapper, then you be able to take some of the bullets, the slings, and the arrows that the people of Portland would throw at you for abandoning them. Because you damn sure signed the Supermax that you could only get in Portland last year, and then supposedly a year later, they ain't doing what they're supposed to do. You know what? Don't put that on. Don't put that on the stupid ass Stephen A's of the world. Don't put that on Get Up or First Take. You got to take that. You, as a man, have to take that. You have to take that responsibility. Other superstars have done it, and they seem to move away and be just fine. You can't be a coward and allow other people to do this. You're talking for you. So Chris Paul gets traded, not once, but twice last week. First, he got traded to the Wizards for Jordan Poole, who I'm sure he made his money. He got a championship ring with the Warriors, but now he's relieved of being Draymond Green's teammate. But then Chris Paul also gets traded to what I don't understand was he got traded then to the first Chris Paul, I'm sorry, got traded to the Wizards. Then Chris Paul was then traded to the Warriors for Jordan Poole. I don't know what Chris Paul adds to the Warriors. He's slower. He's older. He's not a great defender. He's not a shot blocker. I understand, and he's often injured. He gives, I guess, the second unit a good point guard to run the show. Him and Mooney could be coming off the bench and maybe do some dog damage to the other teams. But it would be like two different styles of play. There'll be the fast upbeat for the top five, and then this slow down, deliberate style of play for the second unit. We have to see how that works. The Celtics traded last week for Kristaps Porzingis in a three-way trade. And Marcus Smart is going to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies got themselves a good veteran, no-nonsense ball player who doesn't cause any guff. He doesn't start any trouble, seems like. He's hard-nosed. He's been a defensive player of the year. He's going to help Ja Morant out. I'm not going to talk about is he going to help Ja Morant, the man. He's going to help Ja Morant, the basketball player. I don't know Marcus Smart, the man. I don't know Ja Morant, the man. They might like each other. They might learn to love each other, or they might not even deal with each other. So I'm not going to get into that bullshit that you hear people talk about. Oh, boy, he's going to be the grown man in the room. I don't know how he really conducts himself. All I know is he conducts himself very professionally when he's on that basketball court. Now, Kristaps Porzingis with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, that is a hell of a lineup. On top of that, you got Horford, who probably now goes to the bench and leads the second unit. He's very old. You got Robert Williams. I mean, you got the other kid with the bad hairline. Celtics are in good position next year to be a beast in the East once again. I mean, they really have no excuses. Who can handle? I mean, think about the hype between Tatum and Porzingis. You're talking 7'3", and then another dude damn near 7 foot tall. So they should be in fine shape. UFC had a card this weekend. Ilya Tapura defeated Josh Emmett by unanimous decision. As far as I'm concerned, this fight should not have went to decision. Emmett's corner could have thrown the towel in. Now, Emmett, who is older, is going to have to heal up a face that was badly damaged, badly beaten up. And that might take him months. And at this point in his career, he can't afford the time to take off. If they'd have thrown the towel maybe by the middle of the third round and said, you know what, we'll live to fight another day, and maybe Josh could have saved himself 2 or 3 months healing time from stepping back in the octagon. So this was a bad move decision-wise as far as I'm concerned. These corners seem to do nothing to help their fighters. I mean, throwing that white towel in is like life and death to them. Macy Barber beat Amanda Ribas in a very good 2-round fight by TKO. Macy was ultra aggressive. Amanda Ribas is very good. This was an entertaining fight. I really enjoyed it. You also had Austin Lane, ex-NFL player, fight Justin Taffa, but it was a no contest. This was one of the worst eye pokes that I've ever seen. It happened in the first round within the first 29 seconds where Justin Taffa actually had blood running out of his eye. I mean, I wish him a speedy recovery. Austin Lane should have been disqualified. I don't know why they called this a no contest. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but he four-fingered him. Four-fingered him. David Omana defeated Gabriel Santos in the second round with a sweet knockout. It was a beautiful thing to watch. And Brendan Allen beat Bruno Silva, rear naked choke in the first round. That was also a good fight. Neil Magny fought Phil Rowe and won by split decision. I thought Phil Rowe spent too much time respecting Neil Magny. He didn't attack Neil the way he should. Randy Brown fought Wellington Thurman, and he won by unanimous decision. That was only an all right fight. Martakis Rebecki defeated Loki Radchavich by TKO. Radchavich had no leg to stand on. Literally, he had no leg to stand on. There was a couple of times where his knee just buckled all on his own. While standing, he needed defense to hold him up. So I knew this was just going to be a matter of time. Tabitha Ricci beat Jillian Robinson by unanimous decision. Jillian could not take her down, which is her strong point. Tabitha dominated her. This was a good, decent fight. Joshua Van defeated Zermangalov by split decision. That was also a good fight. There was some dynamite fights. Jack Jenkins defeated Jamal Edmonds. They threw down. Chepe Marisol defeated Trevor Peake. These two dudes put on a show. Chepe Marshall and Trevor Peake, which I thought was the fight of the night. I don't know why these two guys didn't get a bonus. They went at it. Cody Bundrich got stopped by Dumas. No, he got defeated by Dumas by unanimous decision. And next week, we got a UFC card. You got Sean Strickland going up against Abbas Magomedov. I mean, Magomedovs are everywhere, people. There's so many Avs. We call them the Avs in this household because there's so many Avs from that part of the country. You got Ariana, Queen of Island Lipsky going up against Melissa Gatto. You got Joe Anderson Brito is going up against Christian Ashabovich. Another Av. Ishmael Bethman is fighting Bernard St. Denis. Jordan Levin, who is an interesting dude. He's the guy who twerks and does splits at the end of his bouts when he wins. He's fighting Elvis Burner, and Evander Petrovic is fighting Luna Carolina. Luna Carolina is also an interesting woman. This should be a pretty decent card. So, we're talking about the UFC. We are in the midst of the Ultimate Fighter, which the veterans are winning 4-0. The veterans are being coached by Michael Chandler. The up-and-comers are being coached by Conor McGregor. So we find out that Conor McGregor still has not re-entered the USAD testing pool, which is required in order to compete, which means he will not be able to fight Michael Chandler at the end of this show. He will not be able to fight Michael Chandler even in January of 2024. I'm starting to feel that McGregor is playing us as fools. He's sitting there. He's being a loudmouth on the show, saying what he can and cannot do to Michael Chandler, but he might never get a chance because you know what? Michael Chandler has a family to feed. He's going to eventually have to take a fight with somebody else, which will mean that this Conor McGregor Chandler fight, which I was looking forward to. I wanted to see these two guys bang because Chandler's a banger, and we know that Conor brings the ruckus too. I ain't going to disrespect the man, but it does not seem like this one will ever happen. We had the Travelers Championship this week. Rory McIlroy made his first PGA hole-in-one. Day one, Ricky Fowler was phenomenal. He shot a 60. This is the second tournament in a row where he's had a day that has been off the charts, but he only finished in the top 10. Keegan Bradley wound up winning his sixth tour title at the Travelers. Now, what I will say about this, the Travelers Championship was a birdie fest. People were out there just hitting them left and right. The scores were some of the lowest that I've ever seen in my life for a PGA Tour. You had guys in the top 20 or maybe all the way up to 25, and they were 10, 12, 13 under par. You don't see this. Like Rory McIlroy said, maybe the technology has caught up to this course, and this course is now obsolete. It cannot handle a professional championship tournament anymore because these dudes are banging the ball 360, some of them, and then you only got another less than 200 to the hole, and then they can hit good recovery shots. Some of these dudes are not even using driver off the tee anymore. They're using 3-woods. Some of these dudes are so good they can use irons to go 270, 280. So, and I love golf, but I don't like it when they're dominating the course to the point where it's a joke. You know what, people? Once again, everything does not happen for a reason. Sometimes things just happen, happenstance. It just happens, and you got to live with the consequences of what goes on. But don't use that as an excuse to say, okay, well, this is happening to me because of XYZ. No. Try to dig in deeper. Take the pacifier out your mouth. You are an adult. You don't have to accept foolishness. You don't have to accept myths as truths. You can look and dig in and see the truth of any matter if you choose to do so. I'm going to tell you like I tell you each and every time. I appreciate you listening in. I love your feedback. I love every time that you reach out to me. If it's positive or negative, it just feels good to the soul to hear that another human being likes or dislikes what you do. And you can go to my website. There's always going to be a link. No matter where you listen to this show, you will have a hyperlink that will guide you to my website where you can then reach out to me if you choose to do so. And I'm going to tell you like I tell you each and every time, people. You have a great week, and peace to you and peace to yours.